today. Yeah, so 3 more days to go after today. It's gone so quickly and I just can't believe there's only 3 more days left. It's amazing. But sad as well. I've really enjoyed my time there. It's just gone so quickly. So today, first things first, Simon came in and he is having major doubts about buying the art supply shop and the framers. So where they pay rent at the moment, their rent is 24,000 a year, and it's probably going to go up next year to 32,000. The people who were renting it before paid 45,000. And he's not quite sure where it's going to go. There's a lot of debate about it at the moment. So he was thinking of not renting anymore, having the business from home and just doing lots of exhibitions, then keeping the framers and the art supply shop where it is, but sort of revamping it so the framers have a bit more space, putting a few less art supplies in, because the art supplies is brings in 1/3 of their profit and the framers brings in 2/3, which makes sense to reduce the art supplies and really boost the framing supply shop, so that'll be good. But obviously all our measurements, all our plans to convert the whole building into the framers are sort of down the drain, so it's a little bit disheartening. But equally, Simon would have had to spend 20,000 on doing up the gallery, and 20,000 for that, 100,000 to buy the art supply shop is a lot of money. And he wants to buy the framers because he could build his own one himself, but he's a really good person and his loyalty lies with the art framers in Stowe. So that's the plan. His friend is also buying the building where the art supply shop was, so that'll work really well because he can rent it off his friend for the right price. So hopefully he gets a really fair deal on that. So I do understand his thinking. He was also thinking of maybe if they decide not to get rid of the gallery altogether, but it just to downsize. So the place they were renting before was a gallery called 1793, and that their rent per year was 15,000, and that was a lot better. So he's thinking of downsizing slightly because they don't need as much space as they have, but equally if the framers came along it would take up so much space it would hardly be a gallery at all. So there's a lot to think about. It was all up in the air this morning, which was exciting and nerve-wracking and everything. And then after that, Simon has been informed that there's a new work being offered to sell to him from an artist called Craigie Aitchison. He thinks it's the piece called A Boy and a Duck. He hasn't seen it yet, and he asked me to do a little bit of research on that just so he could read through it. So I did some research on that, found out the prices that some of his works are recently selling for, and some of them go for a lot, 70 to 100,000. So he's quite interested, so that was good. So I printed off and did a bit of research from the Tate, from ArtNet as well, and lots of different places, gathered that and sent that to him, so that was good. So he looked through that. And then today was quite a slow day. We had lots of the stock book to do, so Phoebe asked me to do that. So that's taking all the paperworks that are in the stock book that are written by hand and putting them online onto their stock book online, so that helps the accountant manage all their accounts, and also make sure that there's an online version as well. If there was a fire or anything, or the stock book got lost, that would be everything gone. So I did that. So that was about 30 different logs to make, and that takes about 5 minutes each one. So that was most of the day, so quite tired today because it's quite a repetitive job. But then after that, Rosie came in, Rosie Musgrave, who's the sculptor, who's part of 1/3 of Totem, and so that was amazing to meet her. It was really interesting. She was lovely, and she brought 2 new sculptures with her. She explained a little bit more about the pieces so we could get that written down, and then Phoebe left me in charge of taking photos of the new sculptures with the brown paper that we use on the back to take the professional photos, and I uploaded them onto their website, which was good. Had to do a bit of altering and editing the photos as well, so that was really good because it's a big responsibility to take those photos and upload those photos. And then the last thing was the newsletter that Phoebe writes every month for new clients or existing clients, just so they get a rough idea of what's going on at the moment. This month has been particularly busy because of the upcoming exhibition, so she asked me to start on the newsletter today, which was great. So I did a little bio on each artist of Totem. I did all about Totem. So this is for the August newsletter coming up. So I did a bio on each artist, included a few of their works, making sure that it didn't overlap with last month's. So I started that about 10 pages in, which is good, and me and Phoebe will work on that again tomorrow, and that will be sent off on the 1st of August, so after I'm gone. But that'll be good, so we get plenty of advertising for the exhibition. And then we had a lady come in today who was lovely, and she'd seen Laurie Hopkins' work in the window, and I explained that we had the exhibition Totem coming up, and I sort of passed on to Phoebe, and this lady seemed really interested in signing up to the newsletter, which was great, because after yesterday Simon saying, you know, we need to record the people who come in, try get as many people's emails and numbers as possible. That was really good. And the lady recognised Laurie's work, which was great, and she was like, I've seen her work on Instagram and it sells really well on Instagram. She has a really noticeable platform on Instagram as well, Laurie Hopkins that is. So it was great that, you know, this lady who wasn't from the Cotswolds, she was recognising her work, which was really exciting, and she said she'd love to come to the exhibition, so that's great. Rosie also said that she'd like to come as well, which was really exciting. And then the last thing that happened before the day, Ross Hardy, who's buying the art supply shop, or was probably going to buy the art supply shop, he came in, which was great, because, and I asked him a few questions. I was like, so I hear you're buying the art supply shop, like, how is that going to work? And he needed, he was really wanting to invest in somewhere that was a 2-story property, and Simon is a friend of his, and so hopefully they can form a really supportive partnership and work together really well, which I imagine they would. And yeah, so it was a good day today, sort of the general jobs and another every day. Not a lot of work towards the exhibition apart from the photos of Rosie's work, but just sort of catching up on things after the weekend. So it was a good day, and 3 more days left, so it's going very quickly. Very exciting.